Okay, and welcome back. We are finally here. This is the last lecture of the entire course. The next section will be more so just leaving you with some tips and strategies how to apply this information and kind of motivate you to really digest everything that we've covered. I know it's been a lot of information, a lot more that we could have went over, but this was just kind of like a ground level course in some of the ways we can all improve ourselves and become better people. So in this lecture, we're going to be talking about music really briefly. And I usually don't like reading off of slides that have long paragraphs, but in this particular instance, I think reinforcing this concept is kind of important, especially when we're talking about music. And this is a quote by Aristotle. He said, if over a long time he habitually listens to the kind of music that rouses ignoble passions, his whole character will be shaped to an ignoble form. In short, if one listens to the wrong kind of music, he will become the wrong kind of person. Conversely, if he listens to the right kind of music, he will tend to become the right kind of person. And it was a quote by Albert Einstein that said, if he wasn't a scientist, the next profession, the next area of a sub area he would attempt to become an expert in would be in the area of music. And as we all know, Albert Einstein was a genius, and for him to say that just speaks volumes of the importance of music. So there has been documented evidence of the benefits of music. There was students taking a study done on students taking a SAT score or taking an SAT test, and the students that were taking courses in music performance and appreciation actually scored higher on the SATs. The scores were about 53 points on the verbal and 39 points on the math. University of Montreal also did another study, the task of sight reading musical scores, and playing music actually activates regions in all four of the cortex lobes and then also certain parts of the corpus callosum. Another research done in Rhode Island found out that along with other skill building activities, art and music also helps improves reading and writing performance. And then there were a group of volunteers who listened to Viv Vidali's Four Seasons while exercising on a treadmill, and they tested, or they did much better on a verbal ability test than they did without listening to the music. Some music is also detrimental. There was a study done on a group of mice. It was an 8-week study where they played soft rock beat music, which led to impaired memory. Even after 3 weeks of the music stopping, memory hadn't returned, and the scientists could see that there was permanent damage. But then they found out that 8 weeks of classical music had no detrimental effect. And so some of the other things that music can do, it reduces anxiety, it optimizes brain function by going again into the emotional regions of the brain and activating certain areas, and it also there's been improvement in psychiatric patients as well. When it comes to music, a lot of times even behind the beat itself, the lyrics of music are also detrimental. And if you ever listen to music and you get goosebumps, that's your body in training or kind of resonating with whatever music is entering your system. So that could be either positive or bad, just depending on the type of music that you're listening to. And so, as I mentioned before, the music enters into the emotional regions of the brain. That's roughly mainly the limbic system, where a lot of the emotional centers are, and it activates either positive or negative responses. And then depending on how well tuned your frontal lobe is will determine some of the actions you'll take. So if you're listening to real violin or music or listening to rock and roll music, then of course your behavior may be impeded because the frontal lobe activity is decreased and the emotional region of the brain is increased, thus kind of preventing you from making rational decisions. However, if you're listening to music that's kind of uplifting, I myself like listen to reggae. Some reggae music is kind of positive, and then I also I do listen to classical music from time to time as well. And every time I walk away from listening to those genres of music, I feel good, and usually my overall state has improved. And so I just wanted to leave you guys with just some different types of music that you can listen to. Dr. Juanita McElwain is actually called or quoted as being the mother of music therapy. And this is a few recommendations that she has here on this particular slide. And this slide here I will also include in a PDF as well, with some more recommendations from her and how to go about using music to kind of improve yourself. So again, this is just a short lecture on music. Like I said, there's tons more we can go into, but I didn't want to leave you guys with so much information. So that's it for this last lecture in the course. As I mentioned, the next section, we're just going to be wrapping things up, and I'm going to be leaving you guys with some things that you can do to walk away with from this course with a positive experience, because I know myself, I'm still learning and growing, and putting this course together took a while, and actually getting it up took a while, because I wanted to make sure that you guys were getting as much value from it as possible. So I'll talk to you guys in the next section.